Hello, my dears. Please sit for a moment. I want to tell you my story. It is a story about how life can change in 1 minute. It is a story about deep sadness. But it is also a story about how the past can come back and save you. My name is Evelyn, and I am an old woman now. I lived in a small yellow house for 50 years. My husband, Robert, built that house with his own hands. We raised our only son, Mark, in that little yellow house. Every wall had a memory. In the kitchen, I could still see Mark as a little boy, spilling flour on the floor while we made cookies. In the living room, I could see Robert sitting in his favorite chair, reading the newspaper. Robert passed away 10 years ago. It was just me in the house after that. I missed him very much, but the house kept him close to me. It was my safe place. It was my home. It was everything I had left from my old life. One morning, I woke up, and the sky was a strange color. It was not blue. It was not gray. It was red, a dark, angry red. I went outside and the air was thick. It smelled like a campfire, but a very big, scary campfire. I turned on the television. The newsman was talking very fast. He said a wildfire was moving quickly. He said my town needed to leave. People were running. Cars were driving fast down the street. A police officer came to my door. He yelled, "Ma'am, you must leave now. The fire is coming." I was so scared. I did not know what to grab. I grabbed my purse. I grabbed the small box with my pictures of Robert and Mark. I ran out of the door. I did not even have time to lock it. I got in my old car and I drove away. I looked back one time. I saw the smoke. It was a big black cloud. It was covering my little yellow house. I stayed in a shelter at a school gym for 2 days. I slept on a small cot. It was loud and crowded. Everyone was sad. We all waited for news. On the 3rd day, a man with a map came and told us. He pointed to my street. He said, "I am very sorry. This whole area's gone." Gone. That one word. My house was gone. My memories were gone. The chair Robert sat in. The wall where Mark marked his height. All of it was ash. I sat on the cot and I cried. I was homeless. I had nothing. But then I had a thought. I was not truly alone. I had my son. I had Mark. Mark was successful. He had a big house in the city, 2 hours away. He would help me. Of course he would. I was his mother. I used my small phone to call him. I said, "Mark, my dear, there was a fire. The house is gone. I have nothing. I am coming to you." He was very quiet on the phone. Then he said, "Okay, Mother. Drive safe." I felt so much better. I knew Mark would take care of me. I used the last of my money to buy gas for my car. I drove for 2 hours. I left my old town, my ash town, and drove to the big city. Mark lived in a very nice part of the city. His house was not a little yellow house. It was a very big new house. It was made of brick and had a big green lawn. I felt so tired. I was still wearing the clothes I had on during the fire. They smelled like smoke. I walked up the stone path and I rang the doorbell. I waited for a long time. Finally, the door opened. It was not Mark. It was his wife, Sarah. She did not smile when she saw me. Her face was very tight. She looked at my smoky clothes. She looked at my small bag. "Evelyn," she said. Her voice was cold. "Sarah, thank goodness," I said. I tried to smile. "Is Mark here?" The fire. It took everything. I thought she would open the door. I thought she would hug me. She did not. She stood in the doorway. She blocked the way inside. "Mark," she called back into the house. "Your mother is here." Mark came to the door. He looked uncomfortable. He was wearing expensive clothes. He did not look like my little boy anymore. He looked like a stranger. "Mother," he said. He did not hug me either. He stood next to his wife. They looked like 2 statues. 2 cold, hard statues. I could not understand. "Mark," I said. My voice was shaking. "I have nowhere else to go. The house is gone. Everything is gone. Can I please stay with you? Just for a little while? Just until I can figure out what to do." I looked past them, into the house. I could see a beautiful, clean living room. It was so quiet. Sarah spoke first. "Evelyn, this is not a good time for us. We are very busy with work." I looked at Mark. I was begging him with my eyes. "Mark, please?" Mark looked at Sarah. Then he looked at me. His eyes were empty. "Mother, we want our privacy," he said. Those words hit me like a stone. "Privacy?" I asked. "I am your mother." He shook his head. "My wife, Sarah. She does not want you here. The house is not that big." "Not that big?" It was a very big house. "But I can help," I said. "I can cook. I can clean. I will not be any trouble." Sarah laughed. It was not a nice laugh. "We do not need a cook, Evelyn. We need our space." Mark reached into his pocket. He pulled out some money. He pushed it into my hand. "Here is $500, he said. "Go find a small room to rent. In a different part of the city. We will call you next week." A room? By myself? I looked at the money. I looked at my son's face. He was rejecting me. He was choosing his wife, his big house, his privacy, over his own mother who had lost everything. The door closed. I stood on the pretty stone path. I was holding the money, and I was completely, terribly alone. The fire hurt me. It took my home. But my son hurt me more. He took my heart. I walked away from that big brick house. I did not know where to go. I just walked. The sun started to go down. The city was getting dark. I found a small park with a wooden bench. I sat down on the bench. It was getting cold. I held the $500 in my hand. It felt like bad money. I did not want it. I wanted my son. I wanted a hug. I wanted someone to say, "It will be okay, Mom." But I had no one. I put my head in my hands and I cried. I was an old woman, with smoke in my hair and dirt on my face, crying on a park bench. I felt so foolish. I felt so useless. I stayed there for a long time. The moon came out. I was so tired. I thought I might have to sleep right there, on that bench. How did my life come to this? I was a good mother. I loved Mark so much. I gave him everything. I helped him with school. I paid for his college. And now, when I needed him, he closed the door. He and his cold wife. I felt a deep, deep sadness, a despair. I reached into my purse. My purse was old. I had my small picture box, but I also had my old address book. I had not looked in that book for many years. I opened it. The pages were old and soft. I looked at the names. Names of friends who were gone. Names of neighbors from my old street. Then I saw a name. Arthur. Arthur Vance. My fingers touched the paper. Oh, Arthur. I had not thought of him in so years long. Arthur was my high school sweetheart. He was my first love. We were so young. We were 17. We planned to get married. We planned to build a house. We were going to have a big family. But my parents did not like him. They said he was poor. They said he had no future. They made me break up with him. They made me marry Robert. Robert was a good man. He was stable. But he was not Arthur. Arthur was sad. I was sad. He left our town after I got married. I heard he moved to California. I never heard from him again. I looked at the name in the book. It was not his number. It was the number for his family's old business, a small repair shop. It was probably not in business anymore. It was a silly idea, a desperate idea. What was I thinking? He would not remember me. He was probably married with grandchildren, but I had no one else. Mark did not want me. I was on a bench. What else could I do? My fingers were shaking. I took out my small phone. I looked at the number in the book. I typed the numbers, one by one. I pressed the call button. I held the phone to my ear. I expected it to say the number was not working, but it did not. It rang, 1 time, 2 times. I was about to hang up the phone. I felt so stupid. This was a mistake. But then, a voice answered. It was not Arthur. It was a very professional lady. She said, "Vance Enterprises, how may I help you?" Vance Enterprises. I was confused. I thought it was a small repair shop. "Oh," I said. My voice was small. "I am sorry. I must have the wrong number. I was looking for Arthur. Arthur Vance." The lady was very polite. "Mr. Vance is the owner of this company, ma'am. He is in a meeting right now. May I take a message?" Mr. Vance? Owner of a company? I was in shock. The poor boy my parents hated was now Mr. Vance. I did not know what to say. "Ma'am?" the lady asked. "My message," I said, trying to be brave. "Please, just tell him Evelyn called. Evelyn from high school. An old friend." The lady said she would. I hung up the phone. I felt even worse. Now I was a silly old woman and a beggar. He would get the message. He would see the name Evelyn. He would not remember. Or maybe he would remember. And he would laugh. The boy I rejected was now a big, important man. And I was a homeless woman on a bench. The cold was getting deeper. I pulled my smoky sweater tighter. I closed my eyes. I was so tired. Maybe I would just go to sleep. I do not know how long I sat there. It might have been 1 hour. It might have been 2. My phone suddenly made a noise. It was ringing. I looked at the screen. It was a number I did not know. My heart started to beat very fast. I answered it. "Hello?" I said. There was silence for a second. Then a man's voice. It was deep. It was kind. "Evelyn," the voice asked. "Is this really my Evelyn?" I started to cry. I could not help it. It was him. It was Arthur. He sounded older, of course, but it was him. "Arthur?" I cried. "It is me. It is Evelyn. Evelyn, what is wrong?" he asked. He sounded worried. "Your voice. Where are you?" And I told him. I told him everything. I told him about the red sky and the fire. I told him about my little yellow house turning to ash. I told him about driving to Mark's house. And then I told him what Mark said. I told him about Sarah. He said his wife does not want me there, Arthur. He said they need their privacy. He gave me money for a room and he shut the door. I was sobbing now. I was so ashamed. I was telling my oldest secret love that my own son had thrown me away. I waited for him to say something. I waited for him to say, "I am sorry, I cannot help." But he did not. He was very quiet. Then he spoke. His voice was not sad. It was angry. "He did what?" Arthur said. "He left you on the street." "I am on a bench in a park," I whispered. "Evelyn, listen to me," he said. His voice was strong. "Do not move. Tell me the name of the park. I am coming. I am coming right now." I told him the name of the park. He said he was 1 hour away. He said to wait. I sat on the bench. I was shaking. But this time, it was not just from the cold. Arthur was coming. The millionaire, the boy I left behind. He was coming for me. It felt like a dream. I waited. Every car that passed, I thought it was him. After a long, long time, a car did stop. It was not a normal car. It was a very big, very black, very shiny car. It looked like a car for a king. I got scared. I thought maybe the police were coming to tell me I could not sleep on the bench. But a man got out of the back seat. He was tall. He had white hair, not brown hair like I remembered. He was wearing a beautiful black coat. He looked at the park. He saw me on the bench, and he walked right to me. It was Arthur. He was older. He was rich. But his eyes were exactly the same. They were kind eyes. He looked at me sitting there so dirty and sad. He did not look disgusted. He looked like he was going to cry. "Evelyn," he said. He took both of my hands in his. His hands were warm. I cannot believe it. "I looked for you. Years ago. I could not find you. I thought you were happy." I shook my head. "Oh, Arthur, look at me." He squeezed my hands. "I am looking at you," he said. "You are still the most beautiful woman I have ever seen." Just as he said that, another car pulled up. A smaller car. I knew that car. It was Mark's car. Mark and Sarah got out. They must have felt guilty, or maybe they were worried I would cause a problem. Mark saw me. Then he saw Arthur. He saw the big, expensive car. He saw Arthur holding my hands. Mark's face was confused. "Mother," he said. He walked closer. "Mother, who is this man?" "What are you doing?" Sarah stood behind him, her arms crossed. She looked angry. She was probably angry that I was talking to a rich man. I did not know what to say. I felt small again, but Arthur did not let go of my hands. He stood up tall. He looked at Mark. He looked at Sarah. Then he looked back at me. He smiled the same smile I remembered from high school. He ignored my son completely. He looked right into my eyes. And he said the 3 words. The 3 words that changed everything. He said, "You are coming home." He said it so simply, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Home. I had a home. He let go of one of my hands and he gently picked up my small purse and my little picture box from the bench. He opened the big car door for me. "Arthur, I cannot," I whispered. "I am a mess. "You are perfect," he said. He helped me into the car. It was so warm inside. It smelled like leather. After I was inside, Arthur turned to my son. Mark was staring, his mouth open. "Home," Mark said. "What home?" "Mother, you cannot just go with this." This stranger. Arthur looked at Mark. His kind eyes were gone. Now his eyes were cold, colder than Sarah's. "I am not a stranger," Arthur said. His voice was low and powerful. "I am the man who loved your mother before you were ever born. I am the man who will take care of her now." He looked at Sarah. "Your mother told me what you did. You told her she was not welcome. You said you wanted privacy." Arthur pointed at their big empty house down the street. "Well, you have your wish. You will have all the privacy you want. You will never, ever have to worry about your mother again, because she will be with me. You will not call her. You will not visit her. You are done." Mark tried to speak, but no words came out. Arthur got into the car and closed the door. The car started to move. I looked back one time. I saw my son and his wife. They were standing on the sidewalk, looking small and shocked. I did not feel sad. I did not feel angry. I just felt free. I turned and looked forward. I looked at Arthur. He was right. I was finally going home.